In this video, I'm going to give you an in-depth breakdown of all the costs and fees associated with running your real estate business at eXp Realty, Real Broker, and LPT Realty. I'm going to show you all the sources that I'm using for these numbers, show you all the formulas that I'm using in the spreadsheet, and I'm going to run through multiple different production scenarios so that you know I'm not cherry picking any specific numbers. My goal by the end of this video is for you to fully understand all the fees and costs associated with each of these brokerages so you can accurately calculate which brokerage you're going to save the most money at. Now, full disclosure, I am a real estate agent with Real Broker, but I'm going to try to be as unbiased and accurate as I can be when calculating these numbers. If you are interested in learning more about Real Broker, I do have a link down in the description below where you can schedule a one-on-one video call, and I can help you calculate these numbers for your specific production. So first, let's take a look at all the fees and some of the awards that each of these different companies offers. We'll start off with eXp Realty. So eXp has an 80-20 commission split with a $16,000 a year cap. They have a $149 startup fee. They have an $85 a month cloud brokerage fee. They have a $25 transaction review fee per transaction and a $400 risk management fee, which caps at $500. Now, after you fully cap at $16,000, they do charge you a $250 transaction fee after you cap. After you hit Icon Agent, they charge you a $75 per transaction fee. And once you hit Icon Agent at eXp, you can earn up to $16,000 in free stock from the company. This is actually broken down into 3 separate awards with 3 separate criteria. Over at Real Broker, they have an 85-15 commission split with a $12,000 a year cap. After you cap, you do pay a $285 transaction fee. After you hit Elite Agent, that transaction fee goes down to $129 per transaction. They also have a one-time $249 joining fee. They have a $30 E&O insurance fee per transaction. They have no monthly fees, but they do charge a $750 annual fee, which gets taken out of your first 3 commissions of the year, $250, $250, and $250. And with Real Broker, when you hit Elite Agent, you'll receive up to $24,000 in free stock in the company. Now, LPT Realty is a little different in that they have essentially 2 different business models. They have kind of a discount brokerage model where you pay a flat fee per transaction with a $5,000 a year cap, but you're not eligible for a lot of the stock award programs, and you're also not eligible for the revenue share either. So they call that their business builder plan. On the other side, they have their rev share partner plan. And with this one, you are eligible to receive revenue share and a few other stock bonuses as well. And because this model is the closest to Real and eXp's model with the stock awards or hitting certain milestones and the revenue share, this is the model I'm going to be comparing today, just so that we're really comparing apples to apples. Now, LPT Realty doesn't necessarily have an Elite Agent and an Icon Agent like Real and eXp does, but instead they have a couple of different milestones that you hit in terms of production, and that kind of determines what level of stock bonuses that you receive with the company. So we take a look at this spreadsheet, and we keep in mind that we're going with the rev share partner route. When you hit 1 transaction, you get 140 shares of stock in the company. When you hit 3 transactions, you hit Silver Badge, and you get 140 shares of stock in the company. When you hit 15 transactions, you hit the Gold Badge and you get 1,400 shares of stock in the company. And when you hit 35 transactions, you get Black Badge and you get 3,150 shares of stock in the company. Now, these numbers may actually change as the company grows. If we read the paragraph below this, it says that Gold and Black Badge core transaction requirements may be adjusted annually to represent approximately the top eligible 10% and 1% of agents respectively. So I actually find this kind of interesting because they're essentially saying that if you're closing 35 transactions a year, you're in the top 1% of the company. That 99% of the company are not closing 35 transactions a year. And if the company starts attracting more producing agents, it may be harder and harder to actually hit these milestones. And so this is a little different than Real and eXp, where those numbers are pretty locked in at this point. Now, another thing to note about the stock award that LPT gives you is that LPT is not publicly traded anywhere. They are not listed on the NASDAQ. And I talked to an LPT agent, and they told me it'd be about a year and a half before they're even eligible to submit to get listed on the NASDAQ. So we don't know how much this stock is going to be worth when they're ultimately listed on the NASDAQ. a year and a half, 2 years from now. So obviously this makes it a little bit tricky when trying to compare the cost and the rewards for each of the 3 companies. So what I've personally done in the example that I'm showing you today is that I've given LPT Realty's stock the same valuation of Real Broker. And Real Broker stock's currently trading at $1.42. So that's what I'm applying to the LPT Realty stock. Now, Real Broker is also a cloud brokerage like them. We are in almost all 50 states. We're in almost all the provinces in Canada. We are publicly traded, listed on the NASDAQ. We are profitable, and we have 0 debt. So in my personal opinion, that's kind of the best case scenario. That's the best case scenario where LPT will be in a year and a half, 2 years from now. So I think it is a fair enough assessment to put in the value of Real Broker's stock. However, I fully admit that this is a bit of an X factor, and you actually could put in whatever number that you think. If you think that LPT Realty is going to have an IPO at $10 a share or $100 a share or $1 a share, it's a wide range of where that company or where that stock could be a year and a half, 2 years. Just for the sake of today's evaluation, I'm putting in Real Broker's stock price just so we have something to compare it to. Now, another thing to know about the numbers that I'm calculating today, with LPT Realty, this is the primary way that you earn free stock in the companies by hitting these performance awards. You also get free stock when agents that you bring into the company close their first transaction. However, at Real Broker, there's a total of 4 different ways to earn free stock in the company. And eXp Realty, there's 5 different ways to earn free stock in the company. I'm not going to calculate all those different scenarios today. I am just going to calculate the cost and then these major performance awards, as that is like the majority of where you're going to get stock in all 3 companies, right? It's for their elite agent, their icon agent, and then their gold badge and black badge at LPT Realty. So now let's run some actual numbers and see how much it would cost you to be an agent at all 3 companies. We're going to start off pretty low, and let's say you're starting off with 5 transactions a year. So at eXp Realty, you'd have your monthly fee of $85 a month times 12 months is $1,020 a year. You have your risk management fee of $40 per transaction. That's $200 a year. You have your cap of $16,000. With 5 transactions, you won't quite cap. I calculated if it takes about 7 transactions to cap, you divide 16 by 7, you get 2,285. So we're multiplying that by 5 transactions. So with 5 transactions, you'd pay about $11,400 towards your cap. You have your review fee of $25 per transaction. Transaction fee of $250 doesn't apply. The icon fee, transaction fee doesn't apply. Icon agent doesn't apply. So total would cost you about $12,770 a year to sell 5 homes at eXp Realty every year. Moving on over to Real Broker, you'd pay $40 a month per chime, which is $480 a year. You pay your annual fee of $750 a year. With 5 transactions a year, you'd pay about $8,570 towards your $12,000 cap. Then you wouldn't pay a transaction fee, elite agent fee. You would pay $30 per transaction for E&O insurance, is $150. So it would cost you $9,950 a year to sell 5 homes at Real Broker. And so with this scenario, you'd save about $2,820 a year at Real compared to eXp Realty. Moving on over to LPT Realty, so you have your $500 a year annual fee. You have a $195 transaction fee times 5 transactions is $975. Your annual cap is $15,000, so you'd pay about $10,710 towards that annual cap. You would earn the White Award, which is 140 shares of stock for closing 1 transaction. So it's about $198 cash equivalent value. You'd also earn the Silver Award for closing 3 transactions, which again is another 140 shares, so another $198. So a total would cost you about $11,787 a year to sell 5 homes at LPT Realty. And so this is a little bit more than Real Broker. Real Broker, you'd save about $1,837 a year. Now at all 3 companies, you're going to cap at about 7 transactions a year. I calculated this based off of an average price point of $450,000 with an average commission of 2.5%. That works out to about 7 transactions at all 3 companies. So next, let's see how much the cost would be at 10 transactions. So at 10 transactions, you're going to be fully capped at all 3 companies. So at eXp Realty, you have your monthly fee of $1,020 a year. You have a $40 risk management fee times 10 transactions, $400. You would fully pay your $16,000 a year cap. Now, you also have a $25 review fee per transaction, that's $250. Now, you don't pay a transaction fee on your first 7 transactions while you're paying towards your cap. After you cap, you do have a $250 transaction fee per transaction. So that works out to $750. So that's a total of $18,420 a year to sell 10 homes a year at eXp Realty. At Real Broker, you have your $40 a month chime fee, which is $480 a year, your annual fee of $750 a year. You fully capped at $12,000 a year. Now, anything after you cap, you have a $285 transaction fee, so that's applying to 3 transactions, which is $855 a year. And you have your E&O insurance fee, which is $30 per transaction, which is $300 a year. So it would cost you $14,385 a year to sell 10 homes at Real Broker. And so you'd actually save $4,035 a year selling 10 homes a year at Real Broker compared to eXp Realty. Now, moving on over to LPT Realty, you have your annual fee of $500 a year. You have a $195 transaction fee per transaction, so that's $1,950 a year. You have your $15,000 a year cap. Now, you do get $198 in stocks twice for hitting 10 transactions. So that is a total of $17,052 a year to sell 10 homes a year at LPT Realty. And so that is about $2,667 more expensive than Real Broker. Now let's go ahead and double this number, and let's say you're doing 20 transactions a year. So at eXp Realty, you have your monthly fee of $1,020. You have your risk management fee, which has a cap at $500 a year. So you're going to reach that cap. You're going to reach your $16,000 a year cap. You have your review fee, which is going to be $500 a year. You have your transaction fee of $250 on 13 transactions, which is $3,250 a year. So it's going to cost you $21,270 a year at eXp Realty to sell 20 homes a year. With Real Broker, you have your chime fee of $480 a year. You have your annual fee of $750 a year, your cap of $12,000 a year. You have a $285 transaction fee on 13 transactions, which is $3,705 a year. You have no elite agent transaction fee. You have your E&O insurance fee of $30 a year, which is $600. So at Real, it costs you $17,535 a year to sell 20 homes. And so you would save $3,735 a year being at Real than you would at eXp if you're selling 20 homes a year. Now at LPT Realty, you would have your annual fee of $500 a year. You have your transaction fee of $195 times 20 transactions, which is $3,900 a year. You have your $15,000 a year cap. Now, you're actually going to unlock your third award for stocks at LPT Realty. So you have your white award of 140 shares, your silver award of 140 shares. At 15 transactions a year is when you unlock your gold award of $1,400 a share. With an estimated $1.42 price evaluation, that's $1,988. So total it would cost you $17,014 a year to sell 20 homes at LPT Realty. And this is actually pretty close to what it would cost you at Real Broker. It's actually slightly cheaper being at LPT of $521 with these estimates. The next scenario we're going to run is 30 transactions a year. And it's actually going to unlock your Icon agent at eXp and your elite agent at Real Broker. Now, to get Icon agent eXp Realty, you need to first cap and then pay $5,000 in post-cap transaction fees. With a $250 transaction fees, that's about 20 transactions after you cap to hit elite agent. So it's about 27 transactions total. At Real Broker, you need to cap and then pay $6,000 in post-cap transaction fees, but we have a higher transaction fee of $285. So it takes about 21 transactions after you cap to hit elite agent. So at Real Broker, you hit elite agent at about 28 transactions a year. So Real Broker, you hit elite agent about 28 transactions a year versus Icon agent at 27 transactions a year. So now let's run those numbers and see where we stand with costs when we factor in the free stock in the companies. So at eXp Realty, you have your monthly fees, you have your risk management fee, you have your cap. Then you have the review fee of $25 times 30 transactions. You have your transaction fee on 20 transactions of $250 times 20 transactions, $5,000. After you hit Icon agent, your transaction fee drops from $250 to $75 a transaction. So that gets applied to 3 transactions, which is $225. And you can earn up to $16,000 in free stock with eXp Realty. So when we add all this up, the total is $7,495 a year to sell 30 homes a year at eXp Realty. Now let's crunch the numbers for Real Broker. You have your chime cost of $480, your annual fee of $750, your cap of $12,000 a year. You're going to pay a $285 transaction fee on 21 transactions a year, which is $5,985. You're then going to pay the elite agent transaction fee on 2 transactions, which is $258. You're going to pay an E&O insurance fee of $30 per transaction, which is a total of $900. And you're going to earn up to $24,000 in free stock. So when you add all that up, you're actually in the positive $3,627 a year. So at Real Broker, you're actually going to be in the green, and they're actually going to pay you to sell 30 homes a year. And so that means that if you're selling 30 homes a year, you're going to save $11,122 a year by being at Real Broker compared to eXp Realty. So now let's go ahead and take a look at LPT Realty. So you have your annual fee of $500, you have your transaction fee of $5,850, you have your annual cap of $15,000. You're going to receive your white award, your silver award, and your gold award for free stock in the company. You have not unlocked your black award yet. And so this means it's going to cost you $18,964 a year to sell 30 homes a year at LPT Realty. Now with Real Broker being in the positive $3,627, that means that you're going to save $22,591 a year being at Real Broker compared to LPT Realty if you're selling 30 homes a year. Now at LPT Realty, you unlock your black award, which is the largest chunk of free stock in the company at 35 transactions a year. So let's go ahead and crunch the numbers at 35 transactions a year and see what the numbers look like there. So at eXp Realty, it would cost you $7,995 a year to sell 35 homes. At Real Broker, you'd be in the positive $2,832 a year to sell 35 homes a year. And at LPT Realty, you would unlock your black award of 3,150 shares of stock in the company. At our estimated valuation, that's about $4,400 a year. So it would cost you $15,466 a year to sell 35 homes a year at LPT Realty. Comparing that to Real Broker, you would save about $18,298 a year at Real compared to LPT Realty if you're selling 35 homes a year. So let's run through a couple more scenarios. Let's say you're closing 50 transactions a year. Well, at eXp Realty, it would cost you $9,495 a year. At Real Broker, you'd still be in the positive $447 a year. And LPT Realty, you'd be negative $18,000 a year. If we crunch this number up to 75, at eXp, it would cost you $11,995 a year. At Real Broker, it would cost you $3,528 a year. LPT Realty costs you about $23,000 a year. And if we crunch this number up to 100 transactions a year, at eXp Realty, it would cost you $14,495 a year. At Real Broker, it costs you $7,500 a year. And LPT Realty, it costs you $28,141 a year. Now, commission is really only one stream of income into your business. And many of us also receive revenue share, which is also a pretty significant stream of income into our businesses. If you want to see a full breakdown and comparison of Real Broker versus eXp's revenue share models, you can check that video out right here. And if you want to learn more about Real Broker, I'd be happy to hop on a one-on-one video call with you, crunch all the numbers for your specific business, see if Real Broker would be a good fit for you or not. I have a link down in the description below where you can schedule a one-on-one video call with myself. Just click on the date and time that works for you, you can automatically schedule it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you over in the next video.